All right. Bungie is banning Smurf accounts in Destiny 2, and we have a world's first raid race, not raid race, I guess I should say, world's first Onslaught race. It's coming with the new activity where they're going to be giving away a prize to the first 3 teams that beat the legend difficulty. There's a lot of news that we have to cover in this week's TWID. It's April 4th, 2024. Let's go ahead and jump into everything. First, we're going to do a quick recap of everything though, because they're recapping everything that happened on the developer live stream. We're not going to cover all of this in detail. We already watched this in a video. We know what's going on with all of that. We've got the returning exotic whisper mission and the ability to craft the exotic. We've got the returning 0-hour mission and the ability to now craft it. The reprised ships are coming back, but they're going to be in a different form. So that way, if you're an OG player and you beat the OG version of these exotic missions, you'll get to keep that as a nice prize, but you'll still get the option of getting the new forms of the ships here. Next up, they got new PvP maps. We already looked at all 3 of those in that developer live stream. You have the ability to recustomize your characters, so you can add a beard onto them, maybe. Who knows? I doubt they'll actually add beards, but that would be nice. Next up, we've got additional name changes on April 9th. A lot of people have been asking about this for a long time. They got their name change stuck in a place where they don't like it and they want to change their name. So now you're going to have the option to change your name once more on April 9th. Make sure to do it so wisely though, because you're not just going to get infinite name changes. So change your name and don't get stuck on something lame again and then have to wait another 2 years for the next name change to open up. Next up, we have Pantheon, which is going to be a raid boss gauntlet starting on April 30th. I don't know exactly what Bungie is cooking up with this, and they've given us no details, but it does have escalating difficulties, and it's got raid bosses, so I'm looking forward to this. This is right up my alley. Personally, I think this could be really cool. I don't know if this is just more for getting people the exotics. I don't know what's going on with it. Is it a 12-player activity? Who knows? It could be really cool. It could be average. We'll find out once they give us some details. It sounds like they're hyping it up, though. It sounds like it's going to be pretty good. Then we have a new light tutorial experience. They're sharing some details and updates we're bringing to the new light experience and new ways players can choose to interact with it. So you can actually skip the quests and stuff. They're going to do a full breakdown of that, which is good, I think, overall, because a lot of people get confused during the new light quest. And then we've got the Final Shape developer gameplay review that's going to come out this Tuesday at Reset. So make sure you mark your calendars there and make sure you show up for that. It's going to be a half hour before Reset. Be mindful of that. And if you watch it, you're actually going to get the option of getting this epic emblem here. You only have to watch for 15 minutes. And if you didn't successfully watch and get your Echo Diamond emblem from the last time, or those who held dear, it will actually add towards that. So you could hopefully finish off your Echo Diamond one. I know a lot of people are having bugs and issues with that. So hopefully you can finish that off and get that emblem from watching the live stream. Then we have the PvP Strike Team update. And so here we go. This is where things actually get kind of interesting. This is something new that we haven't already previously covered. So hello everyone and welcome to another PvP Strike Team update. This is going to be a smaller one simply because most of our work for this release has been centered around wrapped around the PvP map pack, which will be released in May. However, in addition, they're going to have some weapon balance changes coming with the Into the Light event. For update 736, we're making some changes to game modes in the competitive playlist. They're removing survival, countdown rush, and replacing them with 3v3 clash and collision. For clash, we'll also be swapping ammo meter system for the ammo crate system. Collision was tested in labs with the ammo crate system and was designed with it in mind, but internally, we have also been testing Clash with some crates for some time now. The benefit of the crate system in the Clash game mode specifically is that it continues to promote map movement and helps incentivize passive team play, which can occur when there are no on-map objectives, and encourage the flow in and out of engagement zones. That's good. Trials, we've heard the feedback that the special ammo economy of Trials, while improved, doesn't feel quite right just yet. So for the first 2 weeks of update 736, we'll be experimenting with it to gather additional data. So we got some changes to the special ammo economy in Trials. First week of Trials, we'll be running what we refer to as unrestricted special ammo crate system, where all 4 ammo crates spawn every round. And players who have special ammo will drop it on death when they are killed. We'll use this to draw a baseline for an upper limit of special ammo in the Trials environment. The second week, we'll be moving to a restricted version of ammo crates, where only 2 crates spawn each round. While players will still lose special ammo on death, they will not drop special ammo bricks. This variant will end up with special ammo availability between the current ammo meter system values and the previous respawn values. Got it. During these first 2 weeks, we'll gather a substantial amount of data and feedback on how both amounts feel and play to inform future tuning of the special ammo systems for Trials. The plan is to return to the current version of the ammo meter system in the 3rd week of Trials until we can further tune the values. Got it. So let me know your thoughts about special ammo in Trials if you're out there playing that, if there's too much or too little. We've got some not swap improvements in the competitive playlist, update 736, and in trials for the first 2 weeks, we'll run the ammo crate experiments. We'll be rolling out an improved version of the not swap modifier, which will now remove the ability energy if you change the ammo type of a weapon in your kinetic or energy slot. Wow, midlife. We're implementing some change because being able to quickly and freely swap between weapons mid-engagement nullifies the downside of using a weapon with limited ammo and pushes the risk versus reward proposal out of balance for making those choices. Seems fair. Like, for example, if you're running around and you've got no special ammo and you want to swap to just like an SMG or a sidearm, then, you know, there obviously needs to be some punishment for that. So that way you can't just freely swap to infinite ammo weapons and have something close range. So I think this is probably a step in the right direction, but we'll see how this plays out. To clarify, this means that you can swap between weapons with the same ammo type without a penalty. For example, if you have a conditional finality in your kinetic slot, you can swap to an Eye of Soul without losing energy. However, if you swap to an immortal, not swap will trigger and drain your ability energy. Similarly, if you had swapped a part of your subclass or an exotic armor piece. Makes sense. This should prevent occurrences of players running special weapons and swapping to primary weapons immediately after using their ammo, which will make the game state easier to understand. Makes perfect sense to me. I see this happening all the time. It's obviously just, you know, a smart decision. If it's not punishing you in the game, then obviously people will just do that. They'll just use up their special ammo, ape out there, fire their shotgun shots, miss their snipes or whatever it may be, and then swap off to something so that way they can, you know, have infinite primary ammo instead. And then we have a terms of service update. This is where things are getting crazy. Focus on matchmaking manipulations, right? Be careful out there if you're smurfing, if you've got multiple accounts. Bungie's hunting you down. They're looking for you. They're finding you. They're going to come knock on your door pretty soon here. Moving forward, intentionally manipulating matchmaking to gain an unfair advantage, whether using Smurf accounts or external third-party tools, will be a bannable offense. This includes attempts to bypass any of our matchmaking systems, including outlier protection, ranked, and fireteam-based matchmaking. A Smurf account is defined as an account that has been intentionally deranked or sabotaged over a sustained period to present itself in a very low-level player for the sole purpose of manipulating matchmaking. What if I was good and then I just got really bad, though? I'm kidding, of course. Players who utilize these accounts moving forward will be subject to bans and restrictions depending on the severity of the abuse. So what people do is they're very good at PvP, they load in and they have to be subjected to skill-based matchmaking, and they don't enjoy playing against people of their equal skill. So what they do is they create a new Destiny 2 account, level it up, get some decent weapons on it, and then load into the game, and now, ta-da, they get to match all the noobs in Destiny 2, and they get to absolutely run them over. And what they can also do is have other people or do it themselves, basically run that account's stats into the ground by going into the playlist and absolutely throwing and getting ran over for an hour. And then the matchmaking, the skill-based matchmaking for that account is like, you're the worst player in the world. Match the other worst players in the world. And then you're like, aha, he fell into my trap card. And then they actually are really good and drop a 25 KD in Iron Banner or wherever it may be, right? So they're trying to ban players that are doing that. This will have no effect on players who play in legitimate fire teams of mixed skill. For example, those who are helping other players to get to the lighthouse, or in adepts in Trials of Osiris, or guardians who are helping them with clanmates or friends who have different skill levels than their own. In addition, all initial warnings or bans will be manually reviewed by the team. This has nothing to do with Trials carries, okay? They're not trying to go after people doing Trials carries or anything like that. They're just trying to... That doesn't smurf your account, you know what I'm saying? Smurfing your account is lowering your stats on purpose, or lowering the stats of another account you have on purpose in an effort to match people of lesser skill than you. And so they're going to start somehow targeting that, which is actually gonna be kind of interesting how they verifiably show that. I mean, maybe they see like you played 10 games and dropped a 0.2 KD, and it's like, are you smurfing your account, or did you let your little brother play or something, you know? That's going to be interesting. There's going to be some drama when they start dropping the bans on the Smurf accounts here a little bit. There's going to be some spicy drama, so stay tuned, okay? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. 2 changes that are meant to ship with 736 were erroneously included in 735 patch notes. We have clamped the competitive reward point values to make them less variable and more predictable. The competitive point reward system scales the points you gain or lose based on how many enemy teams. However, with the values between 5 and 275 possible, the reward amounts often felt random. We have reduced the possible variance to 50 and 200. Should make fewer games feel questionable. Got it. The post-games trials weapon rewards will now only grant the weekly weapon. For example, if the adept weapon is the summoner. All post-game drops will also be the summoner to make it easier for people to target farm. So the role they're interested in. Got it. That makes sense. All right, then we got some weapon archetypes. We got Destiny 2 Into the Light weapon balance update. This is about to get spicy here, okay? We're about to shift things up quite a bit. Breach-loaded grenade launchers see a fair amount of usage in PvE, but it's mostly wave frames for ad clear or blinded grenades for crowd control. We're cranking up their impact damage for single target utility, also so the mountaintop feels juiced. Oh my god, the mountaintop is about to be so nasty. At the same time, the current radius of disorienting grenades is larger than reasonable for the amount of ammo these have, so we're reining that in a little. Increased impact damage by 40%. This works out to roughly 15% damage, though total damage varies depending on the blast radius stat, reducing disorienting grenade radius, both, what is this, radii? Both damage and disorienting by 15%. Then we've got lightweight bows hurt a little too much by the PvP bow nerf, leaving them just barely viable. This change helps them deal a little bit more with chunk damage and clean up wounded targets more easily without exceeding precisions or damage dealt. Lightweight bow base damage increased by 6%, and this does not affect the exotic bows. So we got some changes there. Then we got precision 450 RPM auto rifles. We're a little too forgiving in a weapon sandbox where most weapons had become less forgiving, and their effectiveness reflects this. We've brought them down a little bit. They're reducing the base damage of the 450s, so the summoner is not actually affected by this. The summoner is currently the #1 most used auto rifle in the game, 600 RPM, and it's going to be the Amit and the Prosecutor that you're getting from the dungeon. Those are the ones that are going to be affected by this, so I feel like summoner is going to be on top even more. This is W summoner territory right now. Precision 180 RPM and adaptive 140 RPM hand cannons need a small tweak to how forgiving they are, particularly with the explosive payload perk on adaptives. The same is true of some pulse rifles and rapid fire scout rifles. Hand cannon. Precision hand cannon can 2 crit, 2 body, low resilience gardens, and more easily get 3 crit hits with damage boosts. Increased base damage by 6%. Adaptive hand cannons have an increased range cushion for the 3-tap, and we've offset their damage reduction from explosive payload to allow them to 3-tap guardians of any resilience within optimal range. So increased body shot damage by 1%, increased critical hit by 4%. Got it. Pulse rifles, we've got rapid fire, have increased forgiveness and allow 8 crits to hit to kill low resilience guardians. Increased body shot damage by 3%, crit damage by 1%. Lightweight pulse rifles, body shot damage 6%, precision damage 3%, and adaptive pulse rifles 5% and 2%. Scout rifles, rapid fire, increased base damage by 2%, and shotguns, we've got precision, corrected a rounding issue that was causing precision shotguns to require 1 extra pellet to kill max resilience guardians. Okay, that actually is a big change to precision shotguns. We'll see how potent they are now. Exotics, we got Whisper of the Worm is coming back and will be craftable, so we want to ensure it's a meta pick for damage. Okay, Bungie, take it easy here, all right? Its DPS is already respectable, so we've increased the reserve ammunition substantially, increasing its sustained damage potential. Increased total ammunition from 18 to 24 before reserve mods. Okay, the Whisper is about to be insane for sustained DPS right here. It's about to be absolutely nuts. You're gonna have like 30 shots in this thing. This is gonna be a very, 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 very strong weapon. They even said they wanted to make it a meta pick. This is about to be crazy. Whisper about to go hard. 1000 voices already delivers massive damage per shot, but you run out of ammo so fast it's hard to justify bringing it compared to other high damage options. We've increased the reserves to help with this. They're buffing 1000 voices. All right, this definitely, the buff to 1000 voices definitely has to tie into Pantheon in some way. There's no way they would buff 1000 voices randomly without it being tied to Pantheon. There's something going on here. I don't know what exactly it is, but we're cooking here a little bit. That's a very strange buff to just randomly buff 1000 voices. Quicksilver Storm has been one of the top PV primary weapons since it shipped in Season of Plunder, and the time it has come to dial it back a little. With these changes, it's slower to build up grenades, and the grenades deal reduced damage. But given that previously 1 magazine would give you 3 grenades, and each grenade hit like a heavy grenade launcher, it's still a very strong option. Increase shots to trigger rockets by 50%. Reduce grenade area of effect damage versus combatants by 37%. Got it. Quicksilver Storm. And then we got the last word, increase base damage by 6%. Forerunner inadvertently received primary ammo sidearm critical damage bonus And so now we're going to get increased base damage by 6%. Okay, there it is. Some big changes to exotics there. Next up, we got perks. Recluse is back along with Master of Arms. In its previous state, it was a little too strong. It would eclipse other damage perks, so we've brought it down a little. In this form, it's balanced against perks with a singular use case. Reduce the damage bonus from 20% to 15%. Dang. 20% to 15%. Master of Arms. Unbelievable. The first version of Magnificent Howl and Luna's Howl was super strong. Shortly after it shipped, it ended up getting redesigned. Could stop breaking PvP. Now that Luna's Howl is returning, we wanted to bring it back. The potential to 2-tap guards PvP, but with a little more effort. Here's the new perk description. Number of precision hits, final blows, reloading affect the total number of rounds granted, with increased range and damage. Precision final blows with Magnificent Howl is active. Extend the effect for additional rounds. Got it. Micro Missile is getting redesigned. Like we talked about, it's going to be an intrinsic trait. Improved impact damage increases its viability in PvE. So it's about to be a pretty strong PvE weapon. There we go. And then retuned its PvE damage to be competitive with breach-loaded grenade launchers, granted a slightly increased reload speed. All right. And permeability fixed an issue where this perk was causing the Slammer Sword to get stuck on the strand damage type. Got it. Crucible only changes. Flinch can have a randomizing effect on duels, so to increase the reward for skilled gunplay, we've reduced flinch on primary weapons across the board. They talked about that. Sunshot became very unforgiving with the new sandbox changes and needed a buff. So it got 11% damage increase to improve that. Wish Ender's exit damage was dealing too much damage. So had to compensate, reduced the base damage by 5%. RIP Wish Ender. And corrected some weapons, getting incorrect amounts of ammo. Mean rewards. Got it. Alright, so there it is. That was some big changes. Quite the sandbox update is coming with Into the Light. We'll continue on down here. Next up, we've got reduced strand fragments cost. So they're going to be reducing that from 200 to 100 for the players out there that haven't finished that strand stuff yet. New Light tutorial skip. You know this tutorial, you know the New Light quest is so bad when they have to create a skip for it, right? So you're going to be able to skip the New Light campaign, as you can see here on screen. And instead, you'll be able to create some of these New Light kits where you've got your Voidwalker, Dawnblade, or Stormcaller. Let's be real though, if you're a New Light and you load in, if you could just pick the Dawnblade one right here, you're Gucci. You're doing great. You got a well. You're gonna have 2 legendary weapons, 1 exotic weapon, 4 rare armor pieces, and a legendary class item. Subclass abilities such as aspects and fragments. You're good. I'm gonna create a video where I'm gonna explain exactly what to pick if you're a new player. It's gonna be well lock. I'm gonna tell you which weapons to pick and everything. You're just gonna be able to load in and immediately be able to probably compete and play in challenging content. So that's actually pretty sick. You got some New Light experience wallpapers. All right, these are some of the OG graphics. I remember this from D2 year 1. This is some throwback stuff right here. This is what the subclass kits, the like little images look like, right? And remember that? Updating the default chat experience with Destiny 2 Into Light. We're making some changes to the default chat experience to allow players to connect with other players more easily by creating a more social experience. On April 9th, we'll be updating text chat to auto join chat channels by default. When you log in, you'll immediately see other players chatting in game and can jump right into the conversation. Surely there won't be any problems with this. Players will also default to auto join voice chat when in a fireteam or fireteam lobby. Voice chat for local fireteam channels will still be off by default. Got it. So they're trying to make it auto join so that way when you log into the game or play, you'll be involved in the conversations and get to talking to people, making the game a little more social, you know what I'm saying? As part of this update, we'll be updating our text chat language, filtering rules, continue to monitor and audit their performance. So be careful, don't be posting crazy stuff in that text chat. You could get your account banned. It's not really worth it, right? So there you go. All those changes, and you also need to have your date of birth requirements changed. So you gotta update your when you were born in the update the app and all of that or whatever. Should be on the Bungie app, I believe. Iron Banner returns. It's your first opportunity to get the Tusk of the Boar and their prized multi-mock CCX submachine gun. There you go. That's the reason to jump back in. Onslaught Legend Challenge. So here we go. The Iron Banner's back. Make sure you're grinding for that Tusk of the Boar like we talked about. On April 9th, when this activity comes into, the first 3 teams to conquer it on the highest difficulty, all right, the first 3 teams right here, to complete all 50 waves on the legend difficulty will receive Lord Shaxx's 7-inch, wait for it, mini replica. That's what you're gonna get. Lord Shaxx's 7-inch mini replica helmet if you complete it all 50 waves on legend difficulty, the first 3 teams. So it's kind of like a mini world's first race. That's kind of cool. That's for you out there if you really want to sweat it out. It's all there for you. That's a wrap on this one. We got the player support reports, we got bugs and issues in the game, we got the artist of the week. That's pretty neat. We got the movie of the week, and that's another twid down. Looking forward to the Into the Light event. Let me know if you are as well down in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed. If you want to stay up to date on all the news in Destiny 2, smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.